time and time again, you have an individual who's got a situation or a problem, and they figure out a way to solve it. That was your case. Just briefly give us your backstory.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Excited to be here. So yes, I mean, Feel Good Foods is very personal for me. I grew up in New York City. My family owned restaurants, and from a very early age, I was a foodie. So loved food, and was always exploring and open to eating everything. And in my teenage years, I just started having so many symptoms that were really hard to pinpoint. It just was like I was sick all the time, everything I ate. I remember saying to my parents, maybe I'm allergic to salt, maybe it's water. Like, it was literally everything I was eating was making me sick. And in college, I was diagnosed with celiac disease and was told that I had to go on a really strict gluten-free diet. And I had to rethink everything, because to that point, I was determined to do something in the culinary world. And being on such a restrictive diet after that, I kind of had to, relearn everything I knew about food up until that point. So I, was really on a mission to not give up my favorite foods. I especially loved pot stickers and egg rolls. My father owned Chinese restaurants, and I remember getting an endoscopy, which was how I was diagnosed with celiac disease, which was they take pictures of your stomach. And I woke up from anesthesia, and the first thing I said is, well, can I still eat pot stickers? and the doctor was like, I don't think so. I actually think that probably has gluten in it. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to have to figure out how to make a gluten-free pot sticker. So that was, the beginning of my journey. And I, just started doing a lot of research. I teamed up with a chef, and we just went at it. We were determined to create all of my childhood favorite foods. It was all about nostalgia, comfort foods, foods that I was craving, but in a way where I could enjoy them as an adult. So that's what Feel Good Foods is all about. I mean, everything we do really does stem from the foods that I ate as a kid, but reimagined as an adult with simple ingredients, always gluten-free. But interestingly enough, 70% of our consumers today are actually not gluten-free.
Okay.
So really, really holding the bar very high for us, where we are, not trying to be just a gluten-free food brand, but just a food brand that really focuses on comfort food with simple ingredients.
On that, say the number again. How many are
70%?
So, listen, I know you live this every day, but in my experience with gluten-free, right, and the conversations evolved over time, it's kind of like, initially, I think a lot of people just thought it was a healthy way to eat. So I'm just wondering, like, what is the difference between the percentage who have actual gluten allergies versus the percentage who are consuming your product that are just thinking, oh, this is healthier?
So there is that halo effect, and 70% of our consumers are, maybe think it's healthier, but also just might buy it based on the ingredient, panel, and it works for them and their lifestyle. They think the product looks delicious, and because it tastes delicious, they come back and they repeat it. It's very convenient. Air fryers right now are like an all-time high. So the fact that you can get that restaurant quality experience at home in an air fryer is also like a huge, selling point. And then there's more of the kind of, this fits with my lifestyle, but also this fits with the medical need that I have. So 1% of, the U.S. population has celiac disease. There's several other reasons why somebody would eat gluten-free aside from celiac disease. You can have a gluten intolerance, which, can be just as widespread in your body and cause so much discomfort, but you don't have the autoimmune disease. You can have other autoimmune diseases that benefit from a gluten-free diet. It's also an anti-inflammatory diet. So there's a lot of reasons why people are choosing to be gluten-free today, but we're really seeing more the larger consumer base is just consumers who are just looking for that like delicious, simple ingredient, product that they can have in their homes that just solves a problem of like what to eat when you're living a very busy lifestyle that you can rely on.
What's the growth metrics? Talk to us about the expansion that you guys have seen since you started. I think you started back in 2012.
2012, yeah. We saw a huge growth spurt during COVID, and that has really sustained since. I think that the frozen food category in general saw a huge growth spurt during COVID.
Yep.
People were at home a lot, restaurants were closed. So it was, a really great opportunity for us to have incredible trial. We've seen a lot of sustained growth since COVID because the category is continuing to grow. Also, we're just expanding a lot. Like, we started out very much as like a natural food brand, right? Like, we started in Whole Foods. We were really speaking to that natural, better for you consumer. And retailers were a little bit slower to adapt. And then in recent years, we've seen a ton of growth in conventional retailers, bringing on retailers like the Walmart and Target.
What kind of growth? I'm always curious
We're
about
up
this space.
160% in retail sales.
From when to when?
In the last year, and then year over year.
So top line.
Yeah, but year over year, we're growing 50%. So it's definitely seen a really big surge later in our life cycle.
Yeah.
A lot of that is coming from velocity growth, which is something that you don't always see as you're growing your distribution so much. Typically, velocity will dip a little bit as you're growing into more stores. We're not seeing that at all. A lot of that is like new to brand consumers. And then we're also seeing a lot of growth just due to new distribution. I mean, we're in 25,000 grocery stores, but a lot of that has been added in the last couple of years with, rolling out nationally at Walmart, Target, regions of Costco, Publix.
Yeah.
So, really seeing mainstream adaptation to what started out as like a very kind of like niche idea.
Vanessa, you bootstrapped it. We've just got about 35 seconds left here. What's your plan? To continue going alone? Or I'm curious, are you getting offers or?
Right now, we're having so much fun, and we're just going to keep continuing the mission and, keep growing and get into more stores and feed more people.
So that's no to any offers?
Right now, we are just continuing to have fun and do this.
What about go public real quickly?
No, not right now. We don't have any plans for that right now.
Just do your own thing and stuff.
Yeah.
Come on back. Let us know how things are going.
Okay, I will.